was Ozzy. He was the puppy no one wanted. Too small, too wild, too much for any home to handle. But in the chaos of his energy lived a purpose, but no one could see it yet. Born in a quiet corner of Wisconsin, a red Labrador was waiting for someone to believe in him. That belief came not in form of a family, but instead a mission. It was the Springfield Fire Department who found belief in this puppy, and it's at Springfield Fire that Ozzy isn't a pet, but a partner with a purpose. This unwanted puppy now uses his nose to detect danger and even solve crimes. Becoming Springfield's first arson canine investigator, his nose is unmatched, his bond is unbreakable, and his purpose is now undeniable. This is more than a story about a dog. It's about destiny. This is the story of Ozzy. Today, Ozzy's loved, respected, and an integral part of a life-saving team. But before the badge, before the flames, there was a family who looked past the noise and saw a spark in a forgotten pup, a chance they took that changed everything. On June 28th of 2022, a red Labrador was born in Wisconsin. He didn't know it yet, but his nose would change lives. Smaller than his siblings, dismissed as too energized by families who passed him by, this little red lab was the puppy no one wanted.
He was one that was donated to the program from an external breeder.
But then fate intervened. Partners with Paws, a nonprofit that finds purpose for driven dogs, saw something more. For 2 years, the Zintners gave Ozzy love, adventure, and a home. But when asked if they'd keep him forever,
we talked as a family about that and then realized we'd be doing a disservice to Ozzy if we kept him as just a pet, because he was just destined to do more.
On August 30th of 2024, Ozzy said goodbye and hello to his new mission.
Just so rewarding to see that he found something that's truly his calling. So I love watching the videos that I get to see occasionally that are posted of him doing his training. We've gotten updates of how well he's doing and how he's actually done the detection that he's supposed to be doing. So it's just exciting to watch him be successful and to see him in action. We love to see that. So.
Ozzy's mission was just beginning, and the Zintner family knew that. We'll take you along on his journey from hopeless to hero when we return. Welcome back. I'm Benny Harmony. Once Ozzy left his family, his adventure really began. His nose led him to a new mission, training to be an arson investigator. At Jordan Detection Canine in Indiana, Ozzy trained for one of the most unique jobs in public safety, an ignitable liquid canine, a fire dog trained to sniff out arson. His gift? A nose 100,000 times more sensitive than humans, trained not for treats in a bowl, but for purpose. That purpose brought him to Springfield, to firefighter and arson investigator Clint. Ozzy alerts to even the faintest trace of gasoline, buried beneath debris, heat, and ash. He's helped raise Springfield's arson closure rate by over 12% and helped protect lives with every investigation.
Ozzy's a valuable member of our team. Ozzy's here to look for accelerants, and every single time he finds something and gets a criminal off the street, he's protecting the lives of my firefighters that work for me.
He comforts the crews, brings smiles after hard calls, and reminds us all that every life has purpose.
It feels great to have a dog with the Springfield Fire Department. It's nice to come to work and you get to see a furry little buddy and enjoy the day.
At home, Ozzy still trains for every meal, still works for every reward, because even off duty, Ozzy is ready. He was the dog no one wanted, but he became the firefighter no one can do without. In a world where heroes wear helmets and badges, some also have 4 paws and a heart that never gives up. As you can imagine, training to be a hero, well, it can be intense. I spoke with Todd Jordan of Jordan K9 about what it took to turn Ozzy into this fire crime detecting machine.
I've trained accelerant canines or ignitable liquid detection canines, as well as electronic detection canines. One of the places that reached out to me was Partners with Balls. When I saw Ozzy and how red he was, I was like, well, of course he's got to be a fire dog because he's red. Some dogs just have that extra drive, and he was one of them. The way he was at fire scenes and just working outside, we would put a drop of gas out in the middle of the field and turn those dogs loose, and that dog would just go find that drop in like seconds.
Labrador retrievers are renowned for their powerful sense of smell, one of the strongest among many dog breeds. Here are some key statistics and facts highlighting just how incredible their sniffing abilities are. Labradors have around 300 million scent receptors in their nose, compared to about 5 to 6 million in humans. Their sense of smell is estimated to be 10,000 to 100,000 times more sensitive than ours. The area of a dog's brain devoted to analyzing smells is about 40 times larger than in humans, relative to brain size. Labradors can detect some odors in parts per trillion, equivalent to detecting a single drop of liquid in 20 Olympic-sized swimming pool. Why are labs used so frequently in scent work, you may ask? Well, their intelligence, trainability, and friendly temperament make them ideal for work in many different fields, including search and rescue, drug and explosive detection, medical detection, including sniffing out cancer or low blood sugar. When we come back, we put Ozzy to the test. Do his lab instincts and intense training pay off? See him on the job coming up. From hopeless to hero, Ozzy is not only ready to work, he seems to love it. Every morning, Clint lights a tiny fire in Ozzy's purpose. No sirens, no emergencies, just trust. We took Ozzy to a fire department training facility, and he and the firefighters showed us what they would do in case of a real fire. They say heroes wear badges, but sometimes they also wear fur. In the fire service, trust is everything. Between the call and the chaos, there's only your team to count on. And for Clint Warnisher, that team includes a red lab named Ozzy. In a job where every moment could be your last, the bond between a handler and his dog is sacred, built not in words, but in walks through fire. Clint explains Ozzy's job at this. When people ask how it's possible to smell over 50 types of different accelerants,
everybody knows what chocolate chip cookies smells like, but he's smelling the flour, the cocoa, the sugar. He's smelling everything that would go into making that up.
Many accelerants we find in today's world are all consisted of the same chemicals, and that is why Ozzy can smell so many, because of the root of the accelerant and the same foundation of chemistry. The firefighters created a fire simulation. They put together a mock apartment space, and they lit 5 areas of the room on fire, and 3 of those spots were started by using a pinch of gasoline. They then let the fire burn for about 10 minutes. They then sent the firefighter in to put the fire out, and they proceeded to let the room cool down for about 20 minutes and ensured the room was not hot before Clint took Ozzy in. Clint took Ozzy in to see if he could find the accelerants that they had hidden.
I would never send him into a place that was too dangerous for him. Sometimes there's needles or debris on the floor, or there's too many holes in the floor and it's unsafe, and we wouldn't send him in.
Once Ozzy entered the room, you can see he alerted to all the spots where the gas was. And once he shows Clint where the accelerants are, he sticks his nose on the ground, sometimes paws at the area, and sits down. Then Clint pulls his food out of his fanny pack and feeds Ozzy from his hand. Ozzy knows when it's time to work by watching Clint put his pack on his waist. After Ozzy leaves the fire, he is then taken back to the car, and Clint uses specific fire wipes to wipe Ozzy's nose and feet to ensure he does not have any residue from the fire still on him. Then, in a real fire situation, Clint would take Ozzy to downtown Springfield to Station 1, and they would give him a bath and decontaminate him the same way the firefighters do. Cleanup for Ozzy and the firefighters after a fire is the most important part of the job. Before anything else happens, it's important to finish the call safely.
So we use special wipes that are made for fire scene cleanup, so it helps take off all the carcinogens and any types of carbon particles and stuff like that, so his paws don't. And it also gives me a chance to inspect his paws, make sure he don't have any cuts or abrasions on them.
In the aftermath of destruction, there's soot, sorrow, and sometimes answers. Ozzy leads Clint to the truth, even when it's buried underneath ash. He gives closure to those who need it most, and he gives his handler something more: hope in finding answers. Since November, Ozzy has worked 20 fires. He has alerted at 6 fires to the presence of ignitable fluids. At 2 of those scenes, he alerted in multiple areas. Everything Ozzy detected was submitted to the Illinois State Crime Lab for analysis. Testing confirms that Ozzy has a 100% success rate. In fact, one person has already been arrested for arson. Not only is Ozzy a firefighter, but he also works very closely with the Springfield Police Department. Tamara Russell of the Crime Scene Investigations Unit spoke to us about seeing Ozzy in action and how she's witnessed him make an impact, not only in comforting the first responders on scene, but also the victims of horrid events.
He's a morale booster for everyone. I don't know that you ever see a male or a female not turn into like a 5-year-old child when they see a puppy come down a hallway. So I would say it is positive for them and us, because who doesn't want to see that on one of the worst days that you might be out working?
He's fierce on the fire scene, but off duty, he's just a dog with a favorite sunny spot on the porch, a love for fetch, and lots of belly scratches. The softer side of Springfield's hero on 4 paws. What life looks like off the job when we come back. At night, when the sirens fade and the streets grow quiet, Ozzy's still there, not as a tool, not as a canine, but as family. When Ozzy is off duty, his life remains still centered around purpose. In the quiet town of Cantrell, Illinois, Ozzy spends his days with the people who mean the most to him, his family, Clint and Jennifer. Ozzy loves these moments, lazy afternoons, basking in the sun, soaking up the simple joy of those belly scratches. But even in his downtime, discipline is still part of his routine. Ozzy knows the boundaries. Clint has set up markers, little flags around the yard, teaching Ozzy where he can roam. It's a balance of freedom and control, a lesson he learned early on. He loves to play. The ball, his cherished toy, is a simple pleasure. But as a working dog, it's important that play doesn't become his world. Each day, for just 10 minutes, Clint lets him fetch the ball, a small reward for a job well done. And the ball, it stays in Clint's squad car, a reminder that every moment of play has its limits. Every morning begins the same way. Before the world stirs, before the sirens call, it's just a man and his partner practicing the quiet art of purpose. Training doesn't stop at the station. At home, Clint has set up a special machine made from piping, with little cups placed along its length. Each day, Clint burns small household materials, carpet, wood, and piping, and places a tiny drop of gasoline in one of the cups. The scent of the fire fills the air, but Ozzy's job isn't to notice the flames. It's to find the accelerant. Each day, Clint spins the machine and Ozzy goes to work. With his sharp nose, he sniffs each cup, looking for the one that holds the gas. When he finds it, Ozzy signals by sitting. That's his cue, and Clint rewards him immediately. It's not just training, it's a ritual. Clint feeds Ozzy from his hand, a promise made. Do your job, and I'll never let you go hungry.
365 days a year, he eats out of my hand.
It's a bond that goes deeper than obedience. It's trust, it's devotion, and it's something Clint has cultivated through every meal and every command.
Some days he'll get 3 cups, some days he'll get 4 cups, and we vary that. Some days we might train 3, 4, 5 times during the day, smaller feedings, and there's other times we'll do one big training.
Even at home, training never ends. Though Ozzy is Clint's most loyal companion, Jennifer has learned a few commands too. Just in case she's ever alone with Ozzy, But if Clint is nearby, Ozzy's attention is fixed solely on him.
When Clint's not around, he does a lot better.
Ozzy listens to Clint more than anyone else. It's a bond forged through consistency and trust. Clint is his commander, his leader, and Ozzy knows that no one else can take his place. And when the sirens call again, Ozzy will be ready, but for now, he's content. In the peace of Cantrell, he's not a working dog. He's a beloved family member. And with Clint and Jennifer by his side, Ozzy knows that every day is filled with purpose, loyalty, and love. For Ozzy, it's never just about the work. It's about the bond that sustains him. A bond built on respect, devotion, and the quiet moments of purpose between man and dog. This is the life of Ozzy, fire dog, partner, and family member. And for him, every day is another chance to serve, to love, and to be loved in return. Ozzy is also right at home even when he's at work. He spends his work hours in firehouses with the men and women on the force, sitting on their laps as they eat lunch, and playing fetch with his partners. Although he is a dog, he is more than that to this community. He's a leader and a trusted partner. As we scroll through these comments, it's clear Ozzy has become a beloved member of this community. From firehouse to the streets, this brave pup has won the hearts of everyone he meets. Keep shining, Ozzy. The whole community is behind you. We're joined by a special guest in the studio. When we come back, stick around. You won't want to miss it.
Well, I tell you what, I couldn't imagine him not working this job without him. So I can tell you, when he's retiring, I'm retiring.
Clint Warnisher doesn't just wear a badge. He carries a promise to serve, to protect, to stand in the ashes of what's left behind and find the answers this city desperately needs. They say dogs choose their people. And maybe when no one wanted Ozzy, it was because he was waiting for Clint, waiting to become the hero he was destined to be. Together, they became something stronger, a team built on trust, on purpose. So when you see Clint out there answering the call, walking into what others run from, just know he's never alone, because by his side is Ozzy. And they are both with us in the studio right now, Clint Warnisher and Ozzy, who you guys have heard so much about. Clint, well, welcome to the studio.
Yeah, glad to have us here.
So, what do you foresee? Ozzy really likes to talk, doesn't he?
He does, he's very vocal. He's a vocal dog.
What do you foresee these next few years for Ozzy and the fire department to look like?
Well, he's young and he's new in the ignitable liquid detection, so I expect him just to really get better as time goes on. We continue our training, and right now we're working on getting him nationally certified. So, yep, that's what we're working on right now. So we're taking the steps to do that, and he's training for that right now.
So what would that look like when you say nationally certified?
So there's a process to go through that. There's an organization that we belong to as a department, and then there's a specific set of ignitable liquids that we train for, and a specific manner in how we train with them in different areas. So we're working with that, and it also helps that it keeps them from getting into a routine as well, and that's one of the things we don't want to happen. So,
Well, we wish you and Ozzy the best, and I think this is only the beginning, so thank you.
yeah, absolutely.